Okay, hello, welcome back to the next episode of Star Trek Resurgence. I'm hoping it'll load back exactly where I was. If you need to catch up on the last episode, please do so. Okay, cool, yeah, this is the cutscene that we left off. I won't catch you up on what happened in the last episode. Hopefully you'll have long seen it.
Complete the diagnostic sequence
It was
and the
brilliant.
shuttle will be cleared for service.
Really, really good.
Yes, sir.
Storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters. So we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
So yeah, so we are two characters, if you remember. We are the captain. Oh, not the captain. We're like the first officer, and we're this guy who's more like an engineer
Petty Officer
worker.
Maris, I will leave you to your work.
And yeah, it's eventful. Our best friend got hurt. Wasn't my fault, even though that was.
Sick bay and saw Nilly.
Yeah, Nilly, that's the one.
I figured you'd want to know.
I'm gonna feel bad.
It's my fault she's in there. I should have made her go first.
Maybe, but I wouldn't want to see you hurt like that any more than her. Dr. Duvall said she'll be back on duty soon, though.
Voices are quite quiet compared to the
Come
background
on.
noise.
I have to run the final diagnostic.
I can't stay long. I've got a long to-do list before we get to Hotari, and things are piling on faster than I can check them off. We're making all our last-minute checks and security, too. Tactical and security are short-staffed.
Hey, you don't have to keep me company. If you got things to do, go do them.
No. I'm here because of my to-do list.
Oh?
I am
There are
on your
some
to-do
things
list.
that never seem to have the right time. So why not now?
Excuse me?
I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Nilly almost got killed out on the hull. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
Miranda, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Maybe even better than fine. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back.
Why is it's like the music. Yeah, it's louder. Than the dialogue. Oh. Try that.
Back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
What am I meant to do? I don't know if our character likes her. I don't know.
This is all kind of unexpected.
I didn't expect this either. But here we are. And I didn't want to ignore it. I just figured I'd steer right into it. Well,
I don't know.
what do you think?
I'll just go with it. It's probably easier just to go with it, right?
As direct as I can stomach.
Sure.
You can do that too.
I like you too, Miranda. Let's see where this goes.
Okay.
We know nothing about you.
That's...
I don't.
I was really hoping you'd say that.
That's probably going to piss our friend off even more because I think she likes her.
These are uncharted territories.
I'd call it a chemistry experiment. You know, with us.
We can take it slow. It's not a 5-year mission or anything, but we've got plenty of time together.
Well, let's not drag our feet on it.
Don't rush me, woman.
Level 1 diagnostic complete.
I have to get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Can't blame them.
I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye, driver. Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Because they know it's not as if like our characters just met her and then I can base his opinion or what I think his opinion would be on based on our interactions. They already know each other.
Outside Atari space. Helm, bring us out of warp. Dropping to
Ah,
impulse.
we're going to Atari space, and that is where the waves of energy
Ionic
are coming
interference
from, which is
surging,
not
Captain.
good. Yeah, the ionic interference. It's from here. But we were.
Shield
Ooh,
integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Did we have an
Commander
ambassador on
Rydek,
board that we were
find
chaperoning
us
here?
our diplomat, if you will.
Yeah, diplomat, that's it.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Where is our diplomat?
I've located the shuttle.
I thought we
Opening
were bringing the
comms.
diplomat here,
On
but I think
screen.
the diplomat is here. Oh.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Your moment.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Diaz.
No one else could do it now. Has to be me. Okay.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation. We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Phew. What?
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Thea's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
What am I meant to do? Shield the shuttlecraft. Right.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Nice.
Whoa!
Someone's working hard on the bridge. We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Nicely done.
Terra firma, so to speak.
It's Spock.
Ambassador Spock.
Wow. That's cool.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
The voice is uncanny. I feel Leonard Nimoy died though, but it can't be him. That's pretty spot on. What are we doing?
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical. Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind. Ambassador Spock, my senior staff.
Yeah, someone doing a very good impersonation of Spock.
It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We're all curious about the future, Ambassador. Specifically, what exactly are we getting involved in here?
We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Lydians have shared a mining operation there. The Lydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Lydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Elydians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence, but it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet in open war.
Hope I don't get to that point.
Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective after all.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Elydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We could use that as leverage with the Illidians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something to that, Commander.
Putting that on the table could make the Hotari more hostile.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Illidians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here.
Maybe the Hotari
We do not
did
want
this
to be
storm.
caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
Well, at least I don't have to do the negotiations, because I'm not the commander.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
No, this is a classic Star Trek Next Generation episode, or normal.
When she wants to. It would be unconventional.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension,
is the sort of
you will
thing
be
that
doing your duty, Commander.
Would be an episode.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and
no pressure.
the prospect for peace
Bloody hell.
may very well depend on it.
Okay. I mean, on the surface, it looks like there's a Hotari who are the more hard labor. They've been hard done by the more intelligent species, but they've both been benefiting from this, so not as cut and dry as that. So we have to see when we meet them what they're like. Oh God, what's she gonna say? Sorry.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock.
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
One nice thing about Vulcans. Chovak is the only person who didn't look at this and treat me like I was something to pity. Doc says I should get used to it.
I'm sorry.
I
know she just said about people pitying her, but I need to apologize.
Now that sounds like self-pity, and I'm even less interested in that.
Nilly... Okay.
Let's just crack the
Let's
shuttle
just move
open
on.
and
She's
see what we're
happy
dealing
to move
with.
on, so we will move on. So that went grey. She heard my apology for going first and wants to move past it. She's heard it. That's fine. We'll forget it happened. You got a
Ready to
badass
go?
scar now.
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Okay. Press this thing, buttons like that.
I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
Shit.
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you.
Yes, that's good.
All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something. Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the navigation array.
Your tricorder can record and analyze data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Use 2 to equip or holster your tricorder. Hold that to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use Q and E to switch between different scan modes and search for glowing objects. Mode indicators on the tricorder will blink. There's an object to find in that mode. When you've scanned all objects, the frame will change colour, and then hold that to analyze data and finish the scan. Where am I going?
Navigation array checks out, so it must be a coil.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
I'm not into it. I should have said no.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
You're the one with the important job to do. Keeping the captain safe. And Ambassador Spock.
It doesn't always feel that way. Baking in the hot sun, standing guard next to an empty shuttlecraft. But it has its moments.
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
Oh god, it's
And
the
you're
jocks.
the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
That's what our character said when we looked at the train.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go.
Bye.
Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now.
Like a boss.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
Save some of that for when I get back.
You've got a deal.
Be seeing you.
Live long and prosper. Rothia chose to date Miranda. Why not? Life's too
Marta
short.
Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
I mean, it seems to be putting out false data.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure return non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
No, no one can. So that's why I'm thinking that's the Hatari did that on purpose, so that the other, I can't remember what the other group was called. They did it because the other more intelligent species have the better ships and stuff. And they provide the technology, whereas the Hatari are just the manual labor, so I think they're responsible for it, because then they had the upper hand and they were able to take control of the mine themselves. That's my theory. Pardon me. Seat of power.
Ambassador Spock.
This would be the Hatari.
Captain Solano.
I think.
Welcome to Hotari. We are honored you have come. My name is Tyler Saltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Troublemakers, then. Oh, and here come the other species, the Illidians.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
But I mean, yeah, like I said, on the surface, seems like fucking entitled,
I think we're
more
about to
intelligent
begin.
species. And then you've got manual
Did you
labor.
hear the arrogance from that guy?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
That may be true. But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
Mm-hmm. Be super polite. What do I do? Yeah, see? Show difference. Show strength. What's difference? Oh, deference. Right. Manners.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected
Evaluate the
representatives
arguments.
is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illidian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. This point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict.
Yeah, we're not taking sides.
We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Yeah, who runs the world? Breaky and brave. We need to go down Spock's line, really. I'm not going to tell her to give stuff up to the other ones again.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet!
Two wrongs don't make a right.
If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Elidians for decades,
Can't lie.
I would agree. It's entirely possible.
No, she respects
if
that.
not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but
Fuck
cannot
off, lads.
deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Elidian involvement.
What are they saying then? They thought Captain Solano thought Jara handled a complex situation as well as could be expected. Spock thought Jara performed well when she was being quite. Oh, well, why was it not green?
We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies!
Jesus. There's not much peace going on right
The
now.
Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, Who deserves control of
Oh,
the
no.
dilithium trade and the mines on Tau?
Why do I have to decide this?
Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Alidians?
I can't... Whoa, now. What the fuck? I have to decide one or the other. Oh boy. How do I decide this? Right, the Alidians are the smarter race. There's an agreement in place between the two. Don't know what the conditions were like for the Hotari. They're saying that they were mistreated, but then they chose to respond by slaughtering loads of Alidians, which is wrong, and took control of the mine for themselves. Can't get past that point, and if we reward them by supporting them, we shouldn't have an opinion either way. But if we support the Atari, then we're saying it's okay that they slaughtered loads of Lydians. Ooh. The Lydians are fucking arrogant bastards, though. I'm gonna do a coin flip. I can't decide. Heads is the Atari. Tails of the Lydian. It was tails.
Only be one or the other, not both.
Oh, I wonder if I could have not
If there
chosen.
can only be one, then it would be in the best interest of all involved if the Alidians resumed operation of the mines.
And that is why we should not trust our fate to the Federation.
She speaks sense. You do well to listen to her.
And you do well to hold your tongue.
We will take back our minds by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation.
Why couldn't I have
with
said
a
that?
smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential
I
representatives.
shouldn't have said anything. Maybe that was an option. Because in Telltale, it's like sometimes saying nothing is the answer. Is an answer.
I would agree, Ambassador Spock.
Yeah, don't involve me in these negotiations now. I thought the whole plan was for me to come down and, like, learn a bit more, like, behind the scenes, get some info that wouldn't previously be shared.
I think this is best left to those of us with more experience in diplomatic matters.
Oh, I fucked it. Oh, I fucked it. Can I reload? Shit. I chose the wrong thing. All that luck. Now I'm not in the negotiations.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers.
Oh, okay. Ah, so this should...
find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war.
Okay, so I think that was
What
going
happened
to
to
happen
those
regardless. I think that would have happened regardless, otherwise I would never be able to speak to the locals. Oh, could have done that better, I guess.
Commander, after hearing so much about the Federation's sense of fairness and justice, I was surprised that you sided with the Alidians.
I shouldn't have.
In all honesty, I expected more, especially from someone like you.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
On the Alidians' terms, apparently.
I assume you were there, the day the mines were seized from the Alidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Alidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
Did you have help from someone else?
Hotari stands alone against the Alidian forces. We don't need help from anyone. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Illydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
I wouldn't say state-of-the-art, but the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
Sidron.
Doesn't look like it's
A
going
pleasure
well
meeting
in
you,
that
Commander.
either.
I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Okay. Let's appreciate the water.
Soothing.
That was nice. Okay, some more Atari.
Commander Rydek, I have to admit,
I'm
I was
sorry.
surprised when you said the Illydians should control the dilithium trade.
I'm sorry.
I was under the assumption the Federation was neutral. But maybe I was wrong.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It was wrong of me to side with the Illydians. We are here to help find a peaceful resolution
Shouldn't
to
have
this
said
conflict.
anything.
That's all.
I forgot.
I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden.
I should have sided with the
Voices
Hotari. I'm
risen
their
up.
guest as well. Spock literally
Voices
said.
shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I assume they've taken your place.
I was one of the Queen's most trusted advisors. And I hope to prove myself worthy of being so again. Which is why you're here. My fear has been that the Illydians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to. But it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Illydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference. Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. But that's what concerns me.
Yeah, everyone was right to side with the
Whatever
other
they're
people.
hiding, it can't be good.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Right, so more and more people are getting called into the
You
negotiations
can
room.
find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Okay, I like her.
Sorry,
At least.
I don't mean to bother you, but I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured it might be useful if I offered another perspective.
Oh, sorry.
Of
Please
course.
do.
I have to say, I fully expected you to side with the Hotari. But obviously the Federation wants a steady supply of dilithium. Something only we can offer. Without Lydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. Left to the Hotari, it would be nothing short of a disaster.
My answer sounds so corporate.
We're
and it's
not on
bollocks.
either side. Our only interest is the peaceful
My only
resolution to this
interest is in
conflict.
peace,
As
but
is
not
ours.
the Starfleet.
Of course, the question is, at what price?
What's this?
A Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Lydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes,
Your head to wobble,
very
come on.
convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You said the Hotari were primitive,
Well, they are.
except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
Everyone's going in here.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Can I come? Everyone else is getting invited there, and I'm not. What he finds to Solano. Okay. What's going on in here then? Primitive, yet look at their fucking guns. And it was even the ion storm. It had like purplish stuff on the guns.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
You're shit. You think I'm shit? You're shit.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers.
Oh?
I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
I've sent my little birds out to get information, yes.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
It is evident that presently, the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
The storm didn't stop us from leaving space dock and traveling here. But could it still be causing this interference with warp travel?
We must follow sound investigatory principles. Do not let an assumed conclusion drive your analysis.
Sometimes we need a little inspired thinking, Mr. Chovak. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clearer picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Scientific method.
setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Oh god, fly the shuttle. W, forward. D, backwards. Turn. Q to ascend. E to descend. Up, down. Okay.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. We are standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft.
Always.
Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
I just don't take it personally. At least I try not to.
That's a very mature answer. Shows a positive attitude on your part. Remind me of it when I start complaining to you about the ship's new first officer.
Well, she's okay as well, even though we've not met her as this character, but give him a break. Nearly there. Boom.
This is far enough. Transporting the first probe into position. Westbrook here. The first probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Problem?
Don't get me wrong. Things are definitely trending up with Commander Rydek. She's put my ideas into action. And she listened to me when your life was on the line out on the hull.
That sounds like a good thing.
It is. But I'm still trying to figure out if she's right for the job. She didn't go through what the rest of us did. But still got chosen to be #1. Can't tell if she was actually siding with me.
Yeah, but she's lucky she didn't go through what we did. You can't hold it against her.
Actually, I think I can. Even if I shouldn't.
Test is running.
Well, yes, you
Warp
can.
field collapse
You
in
awkward
3,
bastard.
2, 1, mark.
What the hell was that?
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there. With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there.
Of course, it's ages away.
Listen,
Around the corner.
I'm going to give you a piece of advice I
Go on,
wish
then.
someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. And don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. I mean, if he'd said that about Chovak, sure.
Well, if you're asking, I think you're a people person. After all, here we are. Me, an enlisted officer. You, one of the senior staff. Talking like old buddies.
I should send Solano to talk to you.
Bring him on.
I'm sure you can handle him. You've got potential. You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work, and who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too.
I love it. So put me up for promotion. I'm ready for my next challenge.
Well, I think you're going to have to prove that to your boss, Chovak, first. He's the one who has to put you up for consideration. If I were first officer, it would be different.
Well, then I'll just have to change Commander Chovak's mind. I'll work hard and better, and he won't be able to ignore it.
You've got grit. I'll give you that. Here. This is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander Chovak. We're ready for another sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1. Mark.
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Otari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Locate interference peaks.
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
I can't find any more? Okay.
Hold up. This is coming from the moon.
A beam that blocks warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing it. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
Why would they be doing this? We came here to help these people. And now we're getting hit by some warp-killing weapon?
Now, look here. It's current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations, they line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger.
So Star Trek. Sounds stupid, but...
Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. One thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out. A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
And here I thought the Elydians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
For all their posturing, every indication is that the Elydians are afraid of the Hotari. They didn't bring their warship as a threat. They brought it because they're scared.
From everything we witnessed, I would say that is highly likely.
But what are they afraid of?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us?
They took her job.
Behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
She doesn't like the way Galvin and Sidron have been manipulating the situation. And the Queen. Working with us to go around them isn't the same as betraying her people.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make this hostile maneuver against us?
Yeah, that I don't know.
There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
Or do you think they want war? I don't know.
That's the thing. It doesn't make sense to bring us here. Tylus said that Galvin and Sidron have restricted access to the mines, even to the Hotari. So they don't want anybody to learn what they found.
Then calling in the Federation is a funny way of going about it. I don't think the Elydians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harness the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Illidians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
Commander Rydek, sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari.
Ooh.
The Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Yep. Put on loudspeaker.
Galvin and Citron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
Fucking FaceTime. What's going on here?
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
Okay.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
The fuck is that?
Got it.
Get out of there.
Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Can we reconnect?
She's obviously busy.
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to tell.
I mean, I did get into
I'm the one who got her into this. If something happens to her, it's my fault.
She's one of the Queen's closest advisors. I'm sure she'll be fine.
She was.
Assuming the Queen isn't part of this. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Yes. What is it? Boop.
Tylus suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It was gold in color.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Illidians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation.
True.
However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action.
Whatever this artifact is may be proof enough. At least to satisfy the Federation.
Especially if we can show the Hotari are controlling the warp disruption. And targeting the Resolute.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
Oh, thanks, Spock. Thanks. Okay.
As I was
Let's get
telling
back.
Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari.
Payment protocol.
Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
What do you say we pull these chips and find out?
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
We will try pulling together next episode because I'm going to pause it.
one.
I can't pause it. I'm going to pull it this episode,
won't
I've suddenly
budge.
decided.
Gotta be the storm damage. We need to...
Oh, my
Welcome
bay.
back.
My
Any
bay.
excitement down on the surface?
Episode carries on.
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that...
Okay, I'm just editing that video back, and my camera died. I think it overheated or something, because my room gets very warm when I'm running Star Trek. Very well. Yeah, the room gets boiling. I'm running on max setting, so I think the camera must have overheated. It's only a very small part, as you can see from the timeline of the video, so no face cam. Still got my voice. Sorry about that.
It is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh?
Is she...
Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Has she been swapped? Is she not her anymore? What's... Nah. You're not my bae. I know you so well. Something's off about her. See if she plays along. I don't trust you.
Okay.
Something's happened to
I'll apply
her.
pressure while you decouple the panel.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it here now. So, suspicious of my girlfriend. But overall, there is a big mystery afoot. Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. It is so Star Trek. That's just going to be the title of the video. It's amazing. Let me know how you're enjoying it. I feel like you probably do need to be a probably don't need to be a Star Trek fan to enjoy the game, I imagine. Because it is just sci-fi mysteries. So, hopefully you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments if you are and like the video. That'd be awesome. I do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. I can't wait to play it, so thanks a lot for watching.